revolutions have bbeen televised, oh, they're on TMZ like a night. They take our heroes, give us weaponized clones. The revolution won't be televised. I can't be replicated. Copy the attitude and the chains, but no one will ever do me the same. I can't be replicated. Try to control me, then guess again. Rebellion lives in my DNA. I can't be replicated. Duplicated, imitated, fabricated, eliminated. No, I can't be replicated. The system designed me to be a slave. I'm the glitch in the matrix that can't escape. I can't be replicated.
You prepared to suffer the consequences that society may deem you need to suffer because of your views?
You're goddamn right.
Welcome back to the Big Nick Show. We have a big show for you today, but like I said, welcome back to anyone who is a new viewer, because we did hit a couple new subscribers yesterday during the Chauvin trial. We got like 3 new subscribers, so that was pretty cool. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like the stream, because YouTube is known to mess with my numbers a lot. They've known to take away likes and views from this channel. So if you're new to the channel and if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button. It really helps support this channel. Also, my main channel, this is my backup channel, by the way. My main channel is linked in the description below, along with my Rumble. If you want to check it out, exclusive videos there. It's free. You can follow me on Gabminds, Parler, and Twitter, all linked in the description below. Also, big announcement. I've kind of said stuff like this, but I will be on Don the Pleb's YouTube channel tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to see me on there, I might not be able to make a video tomorrow, but if you want to see my content, you can see me on his channel. I have it linked in the description below. I believe it's 2 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to see him out, like I said, you could catch me on there on his channel. Also, if you haven't seen the chat, fun little fact, I got banned from Twitter earlier today. That's why I haven't been on today. Which kind of sucks, because that's really where I get a lot of these. I mean, not all the news stories I have, but a lot of like breaking news and stuff is you get it on Twitter. So I was actually going to get a couple news stories. I meant to get a couple news stories for the stream, but I couldn't get on my Twitter because they banned me from Twitter for like 10 hours. So I haven't really been able to get on all day. So that's cool. But anyway, we're going to be getting into the Chauvin trial. We're going to be talking more about it later today. And Project Veritas, and why they're banned from Twitter after exposing CNN is important. But first, we're going to get into a couple news stories here. So, there is those racist voting laws that Georgia wanted to pass, super racist, requiring people to have a voter ID. Very racist. And we saw a lot of companies kind of jumped on the woke bandwagon because they didn't want to be boycotted, even though that's the stupidest thing ever. Companies shouldn't even get involved in politics. That's just a basic. I thought it was a basic just thing, just knowledge. Just don't even try to get involved in politics, guys. It's not going to work out well. But we did see a lot of these companies and businesses get involved in politics when it came to the racist, horrible Georgia voting law. One of the companies that didn't get involved was Home Depot. And now Georgia is calling for a boycott of Home Depot over voting rights stance. It says, Georgia religious leaders on Tuesday called for a boycott of Home Depot over their company's refusal to speak out against a new law restricting voting access in the state. So it's not even just like their Home Depot is siding with the voting law. They're just not even having a say-so on it. They're just like, whatever. We're just a business. We're just here to do business with anyone who wants to do business. And that's how, like I said, that's how it should go. These companies should not be involved in politics. Every single thing in our lives does not have to be around politics. But of course, that's what the left wants. I mean, this is what they want. You didn't speak out against it. I mean, like I said, it's not even just like they sided with the Georgia voting law. They just didn't say anything about it. And they got backlash, because how dare you not do that? It says the move from officials representing more than 1,000 churches in Georgia underscores how activists continue to target companies in Georgia to use their considerable political influence to protect the right to vote. Georgia-based Coca-Cola, another boycott target, as well as Delta Airlines, came out forcefully against the restrictions, though only after they were signed into law. Now, I want to point out, these voting laws are not racist. It's not Jim Crow. Jim Crow laws had stuff like, oh, you're black? Well, you have to take this test before you can vote, and it's also illegal for you to be educated, so you're most likely not going to be able to pass the test. Those are Jim Crow laws. This is not Jim Crow kind of laws. It's just not. It's stupid, and you're just denying the facts if you seriously believe that. I mean, if I was someone from the Jim Crow era, an actual black person who had suffered during the Jim Crow era, I would be peed off about this, because they're trying to say requiring voter ID is just the same as what black people had to go through the Jim Crow era. It's nothing similar to that. Nothing similar. Because like I said, Jim Crow era laws were stuff like, oh, well, they required everyone to take a test. The problem is that it was illegal in the South for black people to be educated. So most of the time, the black people failed the test because they weren't allowed to be educated. Those are Jim Crow style laws. Those are racist laws. This is nothing like that. Saying, oh, we want to make sure you are who you say you are before you have to be able to vote. And they get mad at Home Depot because how they're, like I said, not even siding with the Georgia law. Simply just didn't even say anything. Because silence is violence, guys. In Georgia itself, you can't say Georgia itself is racist. They have a black senator. There's Raphael Warnock. You can't tell me if they're racist, they're doing a very poor job at it. I'll tell you that. Another lie from the mainstream media was, remember last year when there was this big, breaking story, I believe it was the New York Times, that was talking about how Russia secretly offered Afghan militants bounties to kill U.S. troops. And Trump wasn't really doing anything about it. Well, it turns out that story was completely false. There was nothing true about that story. And now they're just starting to reveal, oh, we kind of weren't telling the truth on that story. It's from the Daily Wire. It says, last June, the Trump-hating reporters who always wanted to underline that President Donald Trump had almost traitorously soft on Russia, banged a can about the New York Times story headline, Russia secretly offered Afghan militants bounties to kill U.S. troops, intelligence says. Now, the liberal Daily Beast website is offering a job-dropping assessment. It was a huge election time story that prompted cries of treason, but according to a newly disclosed assessment, Donald Trump might have been right to call it a hoax. The story began with anonymous government sources, is now rebutted by anonymous government sources. The Biden administration announced that U.S. intelligence only had low to moderate confidence in the story after all. Translated from the jargon of spy world, that means the intelligence agencies found the story is at best unproven and possibly untrue. But remember, this was ran all over. This didn't need to be fact checked at all. Just run it. And they ran with it. And remember how, oh my gosh, guys, this is Trump. he's colluding with Russia. He's okay with Russia putting bounties on American soldiers. We need to kick Trump out. And then a little bit later, I guess the story wasn't really true, but we're gonna kind of whisper that part. I'm sorry, guys. I think we messed up on that story. That's how it was when it first came out. It was, oh my gosh, Trump. He's okay with Russians putting bounties on American soldiers. And then when they, like a week or so ago, when it comes out it's not true, they're like, yeah, guys, it turns out Trump that story about Trump wasn't actually real. I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, if you pay attention to the news, you heard all about this last year. Oh my gosh, it was a breaking story, guys. Like this is deep. And like I said, like when it came out, it was kind of like, oh yeah. In other news, that story we told about last year, it wasn't actually true. Anyway, moving on. But like stuff like the Hunter Biden story that could have hurt Joe Biden, where the Hunter Biden laptop was coming out, and they tried to hide that story, and you weren't allowed to tweet about that story on Twitter because they had to fact check that one. And the story turned out to be true because they didn't want it to hurt Joe Biden. But now, when there's a story that could be damning to Donald Trump, well, run it. Who cares about the facts? Facts don't matter. It says, according to officials on a phone call, the reporting about the alleged bounties came from a detainee reporting, meaning a detainee may have provided intel to gain release. Specifically, the official cited information and evidence of connections to criminal agents in Afghanistan and elements of the Russian government. As sources for the intelligence community assessment, the Daily Beast said, it compared this to Ibn Aliba, a source who claimed to know about Saddam Hussein training Al-Qaeda to make poison gas. A USA Today fact check explained interrogations of militants and criminals in Afghanistan were the basis of the U.S. intelligence assessment. If Hillary Clinton had been president, the liberal papers networks would have said, you can't allow militants and criminals to accuse the president of treason. And, like, I mean, it's sad when we can't even rely on our media anymore. I mean, we haven't been able to rely on them for a little while now. But it's kind of depressing. Where, remember, this was, this seems to be true, and we fact-checked this. I mean, I believe they claim they fact-checked it. But no, you can't trust these fact-checkers anymore. Because most of them are just liberals. Because they claim to fact-check this one, and then it turns out to be false. So how well are your fact-checking skills, guys? It's the liberal media fact-check for each other. It's not fact-checking. So, remember that crisis going on the border? It's still going on, by the way. And Kamala Harris has not been down there for like a whole month. She's put on the job to go down there and fix the problem that's going on at the border. And she still has not been there for like a whole month now. Well, it's a crisis at the border, but you're not allowed to call it a crisis because we don't want people to know it's an actual crisis. But, of course, Biden slipped up and accidentally called it a crisis. And, of course, circle back Psaki had to come back and fix Biden's little mistake. It says, Psaki says Biden misspoke when he called youth border surge a crisis. This comes from the New York Post. It says, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on Monday said President Biden misspoke when he said there's a crisis of unaccompanied minors crossing the U.S.-Mexican border. Spoiler alert, it is a crisis. We have this overwhelming majority, not majority, but just overwhelming number of people coming to the border because Biden said, oh yeah, we're just going to let them all in. And now they're like sleeping under bridges and even these these little camps or something, like cages they have them set up in, or like overfilled. Yeah, it's kind of a crisis. It says Biden said Saturday that young people arriving on the border was a crisis. So for once, Biden actually told the truth, but you're not allowed to say that. But Psaki said at her daily press briefing that Biden actually Biden actually doesn't believe that. You know, he's kind of slipped up and accidentally told the truth. You're not supposed to do that. Biden used the word which administration officials carefully avoid while explaining the White House's Friday decision not to immediately increase refugee admissions. He said conditions at the border made it a bad time to expand eligibility. Psaki said the president does not feel that children coming to our border seeking refuge from violence, economic hardships, and other dire circumstances is a crisis. When we have, like I said, like a huge number of people rushing to the border at one time, and it's overfilling all these, containment centers. I mean, I guess there's cages, but there's also cages, but everything we have for them is overfilled. Let's put it that way. It's kind of a crisis. And again, this is all Biden. He's the one who told them, come on down, guys. I'm going to let you in. And then he realized they actually heard that and they all came. He's like, oops, did not mean that to happen. I mean, it's not that good of a picture, but I mean, you guys could kind of see a picture of how these things look. It's not the best lighting because it's black and white. But let me try to put it back here. I mean, all this is just filled with people. When they're overflowing, we don't have room to contain these people. And there's more people coming. It's kind of a crisis. Jen Psaki added, he does feel that the crisis in Central America, the dire circumstances that many are fleeing from, that is a situation that we need to spend our time, our effort on, and we need to address it if we're going to prevent more of an influx of migrants that are coming in years to come. And then it says, Biden last month told Vice President Kamala Harris was addressing the root. He tasked Vice President Kamala Harris with addressing the root causes of the crisis. Harris has spoken on phone with the leaders of Guatemala and Mexico, but she's not yet visited the border or spoken with leaders of El Salvador and Honduras. Last week, Harris said she plans to visit Latin America, but a date has not been announced. I won't be surprised if she just never visits the border. Tell the truth, I will not be surprised. She's avoiding it, and the media is like, it's fine. Because they love Kamala, and they have to cover up for her, because to tell the truth, Kamala's an idiot, and she doesn't know what she's talking about. Whenever someone asks her a question she doesn't know, she just laughs. She's an idiot. And so she's just avoiding the border like the plague, because she realizes it's a crisis, but she doesn't want to have to go down there and admit it herself. Another thing the liberals don't want to admit is that police are necessary. Police are necessary, and you're an idiot if you want to defund the police. I mean, you better hope you have guns. Like the stupid thing is with these people who want to defund the police is they're mostly liberals, and I was willing to bet most of them who want to defund the police don't even have guns. So when they defund the police, they just totally get rid of the police. They are screwed. They're screwing themselves because they're not going to be able to protect themselves. No one's going to come and save them when there's no police. They're literally shooting themselves in the foot. They just don't realize it. But we have all these liberal politicians calling for defunding the police. And so you won't have police. But AOC and squad members promote defunding the police, but spend thousands on private security. This comes from Fox News. It says Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC, of New York, and other members of the Progressive Squad spent thousands of dollars on private security despite calling on cities to defund police departments, Federal Election Commission filings show. The group of progressive Democrat congresswomen, including Representatives Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, Cori Bush of Missouri, and Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts, and Rashida Tlaib of Michigan, have voiced their support for measures to reduce police spending and allocate those funds toward other community services in an effort to curb police violence. Tlaib's filings do not show any security-related spending, though the other four congresswomen have spent tens of thousands of dollars on different private security services. Back in last year on June 30th, AOC says defunding police means defunding the police. It does not mean budget tricks or funny math. It does not mean moving school police officers from the NYPD budget to the Department of Education budget so the exact same police remain in schools. Ayanna Pressley says Ayanna Pressley and Tlaib in July introduced the Breathe Act to defund police departments, established a reparation program for African Americans. Again, I talked last week about why reparations are just stupid and immoral. You can go watch that video if you want to. A reparations program for African Americans and people harmed by the police and the criminal justice system, and eliminate federal programs and agencies used to finance immigration and customs enforcement, ICE. Ilhan Omar says state and district have been rocked by both violent and peaceful protests in the year following the fatal officer involved shooting of George Floyd. They kind of messed up here. It says officer involved shooting. They didn't shoot George Floyd in Minneapolis, as well as the more recent officer involved shooting death of Daunte Wright in Minneapolis suburb. Omar in June said on CNN's State of the Union, and said Minneapolis has to rebuild its police department, which described as rotten to the root and impossible to reform. And Cori Bush, the newest member of the squad, has previously taken issue with both police and defense department spending. Defunding the police isn't radical; it's real, she tweeted in January. So all these women of the squad are looking to defund police for you. You don't need police officers. But they're going to have police officers because the police officers for them are not racist. The police officers for you are, and you don't need police officers. But you also don't need guns either to help protect yourself. So you're basically screwed. So when BLM comes, burn down your house, you just got to step out and go and help them. Because that's your only way to survive. And maybe you'll survive then. And this is, I think this is even more, this is scarier than just hypocrisy. What I think they're doing, they know what they're doing. And what they want to cause is chaos. They know it's going to go to hell when they defund the police. When there's no more police, especially in these big liberal cities, where BLM dominates already, BLM's gonna have control. I mean, look at what they did over the summer with Chaz or Chop, whatever you want to call it, their indigenous zone in Portland, I believe it was. That all went to hell in like less than a day. That's what all these liberal cities are going to be when they defund the police. That's what they're all going to look like. And if you live in any place like New York or California or Minneapolis, any of these liberal cities or states, I would leave. Just leave. If I was a police officer, I would also leave. I'd say, okay, you guys don't want me? See ya. You guys don't want police? Okay. I'll go to a state or city that actually wants police officers. I would just leave because police officers, you could say these people somewhat have a privilege, not a racial privilege, but you could say an American privilege, where they're so spoiled, they don't realize how good they have it. police officers are a good thing. Now, yes, granted, some police officers are bad, but in the long run, if you want protection, police officers are a good thing to have. If you want safety, police officers are a good thing to have. And these people, they're gonna learn when they finally just get rid of police officers, they will learn that they had it fairly well. Hopefully, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be a paradise, but I think it's gonna turn out something like a Chaz or Chop. But maybe they'll find a way to work it out. Don't know. I highly doubt it though. But what I think they're gonna do is they want these liberals want chaos and confusion so they can come in and save them. So these people are more reliant on the government, because that's what the progressive left wants. They want more government control, and I seriously think this is how they're going to get it. They make the people believe that the cops are just horrible human beings who just kill black people. So then the people turn on the cops, don't want cops, and then after they get rid of the cops, it all turns to hell, and then they don't have anyone there to protect them. So then the government's gonna step in, and come and save them, but then everyone's gonna have to rely on the government now. Which, I mean, you already kind of did with the police, because police are government workers, but they're gonna with their private police forces and stuff. It's just not gonna work. The government wants more control, and this is how they're gonna do it. A white lecturer is just sick talking about BLMs. So she told her students. Says a white lecturer at a college in upstate New York is under probe by the school because she told students she was sick of talking about the BLM movement. A video posted to Instagram on Monday was recorded in the fall during a video conference call for a writing course at SUNY, Buffalo State College, the Buffalo News reported Tuesday. This is me, but speaking honestly, and you guys have to respond honestly with what you think, with what you feel about this. So the part-time lecturer identified by a student as Erica Cope. So am I sick about talking about Black Lives Matter? All right, I said it. Student Janae Moorhead told the newspaper she recorded Cope's comments during a writing course in the fourth week of the fall semester. She said she contacted the college's diversity committee weeks later, but didn't take part in a subsequent Zoom call to address the matter, according to the report. The remark to a class of predominantly black students was insensitive, came in as an example of opinion that would lead Cope to get canceled. She asked us to share an opinion that might be considered controversial. Guess that was her example, Moorhead told WGRZ. After she said that, she was kind of trying to change the topic very swiftly. A lot of students was like, why? Why do you feel this way? She really didn't want to go into it. Cope, who is listed as a lecturer at this college website, referred a post-reporter inquiry on Wednesday to the Foundation of Individual Rights in Education, a nonprofit group that focuses on free speech rights on college campus. And this just shows us where the state of where we are in higher education. If you have an opinion, you say, I'm sick and tired of always having to talk about Black Lives Matter. You get canceled because you're not allowed to say that, because guess what? It's not woke. You're not allowed to you're not allowed to not like Black Lives Matter, because that means you're a racist. That means you don't like black lives. Oh, the last story I'm going to talk about before we go to a break is Demi Lovato, who is a pansexual now. You talked about before on the show, and claims she's just attracted to everything. Her words, not mine. And she claims she's cut her hair to like a short haircut now, like it's like really short. It's like shorter than mine. She cut her hair to free herself of the gender and sexuality norms from the Christian South, because it's just so oppressive. Christians, hate them. But now, I guess this is a story I didn't really notice at first. But I guess she like blew up at a frozen yogurt shop because they were selling sugar-free food. It says Demi Lovato's overblown feud with the frozen yogurt shop explained. It says, is a sugar-free cookie inherently triggering? Is sugar-full food inherently indulgent? These are the questions raised by the drama unfolding between pop star Demi Lovato and LA frozen yogurt shop, The Big Chill. The answer to both questions is no, but let's break it down more anyway. On Monday, Lovato, who has publicly spoken of her experiences with substance abuse, disordered eating, and sexual assault, called out The Big Chill, and I don't know what that has to do with the story, but okay. Called out The Big Chill in the Instagram story, finding it extremely hard to order froyo from The Big Chill when you have to walk past tons of sugar-free cookies and other diet foods before you get to the counter. She wrote accusing the store of harmful messaging and used the hashtag diet culture vultures. It is now wrong. I didn't think society could get more stupid, but I guess they can. It is now considered wrong to sell sugar-free. What else was it? Sugar-free or other diet foods. Because, sometimes people want to eat a little more healthier, but also want a kind of a sweet thing. And sometimes people just can't eat a lot of sugar because they have, diabetes or other diseases. I don't know. Yeah, is diabetes a disease? Or is it just, but they have other things in their body that they can't eat sugars. But Demi Lovato got mad at this. The frozen yogurt shop, The Big Chill, responded, said, we carry items for diabetic, celiac, I don't know if I don't pronounce that right, disease, vegan, and of course, many indulgent items as well. But Lovato also posted direct messages between her and The Big Chill, in which she argues that the food, which to her credit are from a brand named Eat Me Guilt Free, suggesting there's something shameful about eating a sugary treat should be labeled differently because in LA it's really hard to distinguish diet culture versus health needs. Because how dare you expect, not even just expecting, but give options to eat healthier. How dare you? Now, I know people who can't even really eat a lot of sugary foods. Like there are people out there, Demi, who can't eat this kind of stuff that you can. You're privileged. Just accept it. You are privileged enough to eat sugar-packed foods. There are people out there who can't eat those kind of foods. So there are different foods made from. Granted, a lot of those foods are kind of disgusting. I've tried some, like gluten-free kind of stuff. They don't taste as good. But there's something for people who can't process the food you are privileged enough to eat. But it's triggering because it seemed to her that they were promoting a healthier food. Because you can't do that anymore. This is where the body positivity movement has gone. Where it's not just, body positivity, as I say it, is don't exactly hate yourself. Because you're born a certain way or you look a certain way. You don't exactly have to hate yourself. But now it's gone to, well, you can eat as much as you want whenever you want, and it will always be healthy for you. Granted, frozen yogurt is basically ice cream, okay? Ice cream is not exactly healthy for you. I'm not going to stop you from eating it, but there are other healthier choices. And they had other somewhat healthier choices, but you can't have that anymore. You're only allowed to have the sugar-packed foods. If you have something else, that's diet culture. She later apologized, which she should have, because she was in the wrong. Says Lovano has apologized, but also elaborated on her stance in an Instagram video, talking about her eating disorder, how froyo is positioned as a low-calorie food, how it attracts people with eating disorders. I'm standing up for anyone who struggles in LA. It's a hard thing to live with on a daily basis. My intuition said speak up about this, so I did. And blah, blah, blah. So basically, okay, I'm sorry that she has an eating disorder, but now she's just trying to play the victim card, where I made a stupid thing, I said some stupid stuff, and people got mad at me for saying this obviously stupid thing, so don't get mad at me, I have an eating disorder. Like, yeah, that's kind of, I'm sorry that you have an eating disorder and you've had these past problems, but don't just blame everything on your past problems, okay? You made a stupid thing, you made a stupid choice, you got mad at them because how dare they have sugar-free foods. You said something dumb. Don't even try to pretend like, oh, I'm a victim. Oh. Just own up to it, okay? Don't play the victim card here. We're gonna be right back. We're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we're gonna be getting into the Derek Chauvin case. How it's not even really justice. We're going to be talking about another police shooting following, like right after the Derek Chauvin case trial ended. And we're going to be talking about the Project Veritas ban and why you should be afraid. And why you should care about Project Veritas being banned. Anyway, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in a couple minutes.
Guilty! On all charges!
So we're gonna get into the Chauvin case. I'm gonna play that video for here. I have a I'm gonna play this video here for you. I put it together. I showed you a quick clip of that. I wasn't supposed to play that already, but I accidentally did. But I'm gonna show you the whole video here I have. But I just want to remind you, last year they were telling us, BLM, we all heard from BLM, no justice, no peace. That was the biggest phrase. Do they even realize what they're saying? Probably not. They probably couldn't tell you what the definition of justice is. But according to them, they have at least gotten some justice after the Derek Chauvin trial. But do we have peace? Well, let's hear from them.
Chauvin.
Listen!
Guilty! On all charges! Now, did we get justice? Is justice over?
No.
Are we gonna go home and say, pat ourselves on the back and say, good job?
my bike. Don't fucking touch me, dude. Don't fucking touch me. You touch me, dude. Step in front of my bike. Don't fucking touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Fuck you. Stay back. This
has been declared an unlawful assembly. All persons must immediately leave the area by traveling to the west. Failure to adhere to this order may send you to arrest, citation, termination,
Just watching this right here, quick. I'm sorry. I was just, this truck was speeding in.
Yeah, I saw him back there, and I was wondering why he was sitting there.
Oh, what the? Hold on. Oh shit. Uh-oh, guys. Uh-oh, y'all. Yeah. Hey, share the stream. Guys, share the stream. Yeah, disconnect the trailer. Guys, we have a situation. Share the stream.
They told us no justice, no peace. Then it kind of got. Well, according to them, it was kind of justice, but there's still no peace. That was all yesterday. That's not from earlier last year. No, that was all from yesterday. It's never going to end. And I believe someone had said that even if they get what they want, it's still not going to be good enough. Who said that? Because I know them. As the girl said in the first video, well, this isn't enough. And I talked about the Chauvin trial yesterday. I don't think it, in the sense it is justice. I think the jury was forced to do what they did because of the mob, the media, politicians. When we had Maxine Waters go to Minneapolis and say, if Chauvin is not convicted of all of murder charges, then we will keep burning and rioting. Then we had President Biden. I hope they will do the right thing, right, guys? Like, they were obviously pressured from all these different places to do what they did. Now, you could argue. I have no problem arguing the manslaughter charge, but the murder charges just doesn't make sense. Okay. Like I said, you can argue the manslaughter charge. To tell the truth, I don't think that Chauvin killed George Floyd. I truthfully think it was the fentanyl overdose that Floyd had in his system that killed him. But I don't think, though, that Chauvin should have knelt on his neck. And like I said, if you want to charge him with, like, reckless endangerment or anything like that stuff, which I think would be included under the manslaughter charge, okay. But they got him for like second and third degree murder, including them also with the manslaughter charge, which truthfully doesn't make sense. And that's why I'm talking about. They were obviously pressured by the mob, the media, and these politicians. And this is no joke. I seriously believe if they came out and said, we looked at all the evidence and we think Chauvin is innocent, BLM would have doxed them. They would have, put all their addresses, their names, everything, and they would have killed them. I seriously believe that. They would have killed these people. Their identities are still hidden. As far as we know, I don't think we don't know who these people were. During the whole trial, you never saw their faces. They knew this. These people knew this. They knew they could not let these people's names out because if it comes back, they say, we've looked at all the evidence. We don't think Chauvin is guilty. They would have gotten killed by BLM. No joke. But soon after the George Floyd trial, there was this horrendous shooting of a 16-year-old girl, black girl, by the way, by a white police officer in Columbus, Ohio, I believe. But now that's what we heard. When we first heard it, it was just the shooting. This black officer shot this girl. Now, let's look at the actual story here. Now, I don't have the body cam footage, but I will show you a picture. We have a picture here from the body cam footage itself. And this is what it looked like right before the officer shot the girl. Now, the officer, before I put the picture on screen, the officer shot the girl with the black shirt. The closest girl, the bigger one with the black shirt. Okay? The one holding the knife and about to stab the girl with the pink shirt and pants. That's the girl the officer shot. The one with the knife. I have a better picture here. I think there's two pictures. Yeah. See, this girl is literally about to stab the other girl. She's holding her against the car and about to stab her. And then the police officer shoots the girl with the black shirt. And then, of course, it's called racism. Like I said, I didn't think society could get any more stupid. But here we are. A white police officer literally saved a black girl's life. And he's called racist. This girl is literally holding a knife like this, about to stab her. And we don't know. I mean, I can't say for a fact that she was going to kill her, but there's a good chance because you don't know how many times she was going to stab her. She literally had a knife and was like this. And they got mad at the cop for shooting her and protecting a girl. Because the girl she shot was 16. That's why. It was black. So it's obviously racist. This is what the media was saying. I saw people, someone I follow on Instagram was like, oh, this is absolutely disgusting. And, oh, I can't believe they did this to her. It's like, yeah, because she was about to kill someone. Like, I don't think this is a hard concept to understand. He was protecting a life. He is a hero. Nope, because he killed a black girl. They don't care about the black-on-black crime that was happening. All they care about is the police officer shot a black girl. Not about the black girl who's about to get stabbed. No, don't care about her. Because it was a white guy who shot the girl. Racism, guys, obviously. And then LeBron James, the wonderful LeBron James, puts this on Twitter. I believe this is the police officer who shot the girl. And you're next. Hashtag accountability. This is what I'm talking about when I say the people, the jury in the George Floyd case was pressured to do stuff like this. To convict Chauvin of all three charges. There's obviously pressure. Now, it is stupidity if this guy of murder, because he did the exact opposite. He saved a black girl to be to be honest, but he saved a life, and they have a problem with that. I mean, should he have just tased her? Well, that's what they should have done. But the problem is with a taser, is that you only get one shot. And most of the time they miss. So, that's why. But this is... I just can't get over how dumb these people are. You obviously see, clear as day, a knife in her hand. Like I said, like this. This is a knife, okay? The knife was about, I would say, a pretty good size, about this big. Like this. Imagine if this was about to get stabbed into you. You would want someone to help you. That's why police are important. But this is the system we live in, and this is what I'm talking about, the death of justice, is because we see in the Chauvin case how these people were forced into the decision. This is not a fair trial. Like, even if you wanted Chauvin to cease, you think Chauvin is guilty on all charges, you can't look at me and honestly tell me this is a fair trial. And like I said, even if it is, there's still a problem. Even if Chauvin killed Floyd, there's still a problem with what happened. We see the mob mentality that if the mob pressures you enough, they will get their way. And that is a big problem when it comes to the legal system. Where if I pressure you enough, I riot. And I say, I will riot if you don't do what I want. That we just convict people of this stuff. That is a big problem. And that's where justice dies. When we see the president and all these other politicians, including the Democrat representative from California, Maxine Waters. Then we have the mob and the media pushing this narrative out there. That's where justice dies. We can't let this go on. We can't let the mob rule. And I also want to talk about the Project Veritas ban. This is actually what I was planning on talking about this on today's show, but then the Floyd case, the Floyd verdict came in a lot quicker than I assumed, and so we kind of got caught talking on this today. But there's also a big problem when it comes to the ban of Project Veritas. So for those who don't know, about a week or so ago, Project Veritas went undercover and released videos of them talking to a person who works at CNN. And the guy who works at CNN admitted that CNN, he said himself, I don't have the videos here because they banned them, and I don't think I can get the videos on Twitter anymore. But in the videos, the man from CNN admitted CNN is propaganda. They've been using fear to sell, the COVID-19 lockdowns and all this stuff. He said they were using fear. The whole death calendar thing, death clock they had at the side of the screen. They always had how many deaths there are. That was a fear tactic. They used propaganda. He admitted himself. If CNN basically got Trump out of office, he said it. Like, if you can get a hold of these videos, I would. If you haven't watched them, I would most likely try to get a hold of these videos. If I were you, I'm sure you can find them somewhere, probably on some other social media app that Project Veritas is on. But so Project Veritas literally exposed CNN almost like I think it was like the very next day after they started releasing these videos. Twitter just banned them. Now, this is a big problem when it comes to freedom. Because I've talked about before how dangerous these social media apps are. I know it's kind of ironic of me telling you how dangerous social media apps are while I'm on YouTube. But my point is, these social media apps literally control communication. There's no doubt about it. They control almost all the communication you have with the outside world. Other than like people you know personally, like reaching other people outside, like reaching a big audience, like like YouTube allows me to do, or your Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. They control all of that. The dangerous thing is they aren't necessarily, there's no real rules for them. The government can't prevent me from not speaking, because my right to speak is, the government can't stop me because in the Constitution I have the right to speak, and the government cannot infringe that right. The problem is the Twitter companies there's no constitution for Twitter or YouTube. So they can just start banning you simply if you say something they don't like. That's the problem, because we need to put these social media companies in check. We need to lay down rules for them. Because like I said, they are literally they are more powerful than any government. Because especially the American government. Because like I said, the American government has rules. They cannot censor my speech. They cannot stop me from speaking freely. These social media apps can, and the problem is the government is just using these social media apps because they know that the social media apps have no rules. And there's no one, enforcing rules onto these social media apps. So what the government is doing is they're using these social media apps to enforce the rules that they want to, but can't through the Constitution. And that's what they're doing to people like Project Veritas. They do something like expose CNN for the frauds they are, they get banned. And we have people like, Twitter is a private company, so they can do whatever they want. That's exactly the problem. We need to put these people in check. When they just start shutting people down simply because we're telling the truth, simply because they don't like that, that's a big problem. They could, like I said before, they are more powerful than any government. Because let's say, hypothetically, that an airplane just blew up, and if Twitter did not allow that story to happen, you would not know about that. If Twitter said, you know what, we're not going to allow this story, we're not, you just would not, you most likely would not know about it. They control the flow of information. Now let's say a plane didn't blow up, but someone posted that and Twitter allowed it, and then it went viral. You would think that like I said, Twitter pushes it out. You would think that actually happened, but it didn't. If you see what I'm saying, they control information. They can manipulate things. Like I said, if an airplane blew up, hundreds of people died, but Twitter does not allow that story, so no one knows about it. That's how dangerous these social media companies are. And I'm not saying just get rid of them. I think they need to be broken up. There needs to be rules on what they can and cannot do, because it is a infringement on our freedoms. It's very dangerous to the American way. Anyway, that's all we have for tonight. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button. I most likely will not have any video tomorrow. I might post a clip from this show, but another video I most likely will not have on this channel tomorrow. But if you want to catch me, you can catch me with Don the Pleb. I'll be on a show tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, I believe. Linked in the description. You can also find me on social media. Yeah, mine's probably on Twitter. Well, Twitter, I should be unbanned from Twitter in the next couple hours. You can find me on there. You can subscribe to my main channel for more content, and my Rumble for exclusive videos not found on YouTube and probably never be allowed on YouTube or get banned. I think that's about it, and just have a good night.